So today's topic is on your friends and what 4 types of friends you need to dump today. Like, I'm not kidding. And it's not the obvious kind of friends. So it's not the ones that, like everybody will tell you, the loser friend or the friend. Like, I'm going to tell you stuff that is a little bit more subtle. The stuff that just eats at you slowly that you may not see coming. That's the kind of stuff I want to share with you. So I'm going to share with you what signs to look for. I'm going to share with you what type of friends these are that you really don't need in your life as an entrepreneur. So we're going to have fun, and I would love it if you would keep the chat busy. Ask me questions, because right at the end, I'll get to answer your questions. So if you have any questions, if you agree, if you disagree, I'll be asking for your participation, because this is an experience. This is not just me talking. This is me sharing my experience and my stories and what I've learned over time. But I really want to get to hear from you as well, so that I know whether I'm on the right track. I know whether I should be doing more of this. So keep the chat busy and engaged. I love this. I love this. I'm having what was supposed to be breakfast. So yeah, that's how excited I am. I was preparing for this. So let me get started. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel so you can get notified anytime I'm doing this. We'll be doing this on Fridays, so I want to make this on a regular, but I also share during the week strategies that you can use to get customers through digital marketing. So you want to stick around and you want to subscribe. So let me start with the first one. All right, so the first type of friend. First of all, let me just set that up for a second, just to make sure I took down some notes so that I don't miss out anything, because I was so excited when I started to put this together. And I know sometimes when you get excited that you forget. So I don't forget anything. So I have a couple of notes just to make sure. Right? Tuko pamoja. Are we together? Are we together? Can you see what? Let me say chat here. Can you see the chat? Can you see the chat? Yes. Okay, cool. Guys, let me know. Are you there? Are you there? All right, cool. So let me start with the first friend. The first friend that you need to dump ASAP is the pessimist. Now, this friend, and I'm coming from a place where I have such a friend that I'm actually thinking about, but technically entrepreneurs are optimists, because at what point would you ever involve yourself, your body, your heart, your soul, your blood, your sweat, your tears in a project, a business that has an 80% chance of failure? So as a business owner, you are innately an optimist. In order for you to survive as an entrepreneur, you need to be an optimist. So if you're friends with a pessimist, chances are they're going to complain and drag you down. Like, they're going to infect you with that pessimistic energy. Anything you want to do, they're going to be the first ones to tell you, no, that can't happen. If it could have happened, everybody would be doing it. Oh no, you're dreaming too big. You always have your head in the clouds. That pessimist will eventually turn you from an entrepreneur to a pessimist. And in order for you to survive as an entrepreneur, in all honesty, you need to be an optimist. It's not easy. You're going to have hard days, but you need to be able to brace the hard days and actually survive. And it's really hard when you're dragging around this pessimistic friend who's consistently discouraging you. And I want you to think about it from this perspective. If there was a hole, if somebody had dug themselves into a ditch, and you're there trying to pull them out, like you're there to try and support them and try and pull them out, it's easier for the person to pull you in to the ditch with them than it is for you to pull them out of the ditch. And that's the problem with pessimists. It's easier for them to drag you down into that ditch than it is for you to pull them up. So even if you have really good intentions and you're thinking, yeah, but this person has been my friend for a really long time, I want to encourage them, I want them to see what is possible, have that in mind, that it's easier for them to pull you down than it is for you to pull them up. So that's the first type of friend that you want to avoid. And the second type of friend, first of all, can you think of any, before I go on, can you think of any of your pessimistic friends? You know, those friends you just tell something and they're always so quick to find the negative. They're always so quick to just, like, they have all the examples of all the ways in which you can fail, and none of any examples of people who succeeded. Like, all the examples are, yeah, in fact, Nani tried, you know how much money he lost doing that same thing? They always discourage you. Can you think of any friends? Do you have any list of friends that you're thinking you need to dump ASAP? Yeah? Let me know in the chat. Cool. All right, so I see Bernard has written something, but he's retracted. The second type of friend that you need to dump ASAP is the friend I like to call naomba serikali. You know that friend who everything is someone else's fault. Everyone else needs to come and save them. The government needs to do this in order for them to achieve anything. And this might be hard for you to hear if you're one of those friends that I'm going to talk about, but then at least it will give you that like reflection. You'll be able to reflect on it and consider the next time when you're actually thinking of opening your mouth and saying, you know, everything is out of control and complaining. But you know that friend who's like, they are naomba serikali, they always expect somebody else to fix something. And I must say that is laziness. Because guess what the definition, check after this, check Google's or Webster, Oxford's definition of what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur in a nutshell is somebody who goes out, looks for problems to solve. So if you're an entrepreneur, that means you're built to solve problems, not to wait for other people to fix everything so that all the lights can be green and then you can get out of your house and start your business. You literally have to work under very strenuous circumstances so that you can fix some of the issues that exist that were not created by you. They were created by, whether it's society, they were created by the opportunities out there. That's the definition of an entrepreneur. Somebody who literally goes and looks for problems to solve and then makes money in between. So if you hang out with this friend, the one I call naomba serikali, that friend will make sure that you yourself, remember, they'll pull you down to where they are. So now you'll start to see everything as someone else's fault. And you'll stop seeing the opportunities that exist for you to make a difference. Can you see how dangerous that is? That's the problem with that friend. And that friend, I must say, like for me, when I thought about it, when I really reflect around the people I know who are that type of person, who anytime you have a conversation with them, they're like, yeah, you know, these days, you know, these people, you know, these, like it's always there's always somebody else and never any blame to themselves. So you know what that means? It means they're entitled. It means they expect everybody else to fix their problem, bring everything on a silver platter to them. That's where the problem is. The problem is not what you're seeing, what they're saying. The problem is they have a mindset of entitlement. And you know where that will come to hurt you as well? When you become successful, this friend will feel that they are entitled to your success, that they contributed in some way. And they'll be the first person to say that these days you're not helping us out, these days you're not hanging out with us, these days you don't like to, saizi, you know, the person, because you got money these days, you don't want to hang out with us because we don't have money. When you're successful, that sense of entitlement will now be transferred to you. So that's the second way that is going to hurt you. You don't want to be around that kind of person. If you see somebody who has that thing where you start to talk about, because sometimes you may vent that things are not working for you, like things are not things are not working, it's okay to vent, but it's not your MO, it's not your modus operandus, where all the time you're always talking about how there's always a problem that is not your fault, that you need somebody else to fix. So if you notice somebody who's like that kind, like for me, what I do is I just limit my time. And it doesn't matter whether this person is family, limit your time. Because you're better off spending that time with people who are trying to fix the problems that exist and make money in between. And you know what they say about you are the outcome of the people you hang out with? You know, when you're growing up and your folks used to tell you, like, don't play with that person, that's a bad influence, that's not a good, they don't come from a good family, because this stuff is contagious. If you hang out with the wrong people, you reduce your chances of success. And because the things that I'm sharing with you, like, they don't cost you anything. If you can apply them and then become successful as a result of that, plus other things, if you can increase your chances of success by even 2%, why not do it? Right? So that's the second type of person. Can you think of somebody who you're thinking, you know, I need to get rid of this person or spend less time? You know, sometimes it may not be immediate that you're going to end up getting rid of this person, or you're going to, you know, cut off ties altogether. Sometimes you need to do it slowly. Some of these people are family members, but honestly, limit your time. You'll be better off for it. Spend that time building your business. Spend that time looking for people who are at your wavelength, your thought wavelength, and your wavelength. Like, you see eye to eye, you see opportunities, you hold each other accountable. That's where you should spend that time, not with those people. Yeah? Cool. Keep the chat active. I want to hear from you. I see a couple of people have written, so I'm going to read the questions at the end and then I'm going to respond. But keep the chat active. Let me know if you're listening and you're thinking, man, I think I'm that person. At least now you know, and you know how to address it, and you know where it's going to come and bite you. Right? Cool. The third friend that you should avoid is the one who has too much time on their hands. You know why? The friend who has too much time on their hands will probably be encouraging you to do things that are not growing your business. Because let me tell you, the fact about business and entrepreneurship and life generally is that we'll procrastinate. Oh, this is so cool. We'll procrastinate. As a business owner, I'm seeing the chat is so active. I'm so excited. But as a business owner, the truth is that you're going to procrastinate whether you like it or not. As a human being, you're going to procrastinate. You're going to not do the thing that you're supposed to be doing if there's something better that you can be doing, more entertaining. And that other better thing may not be benefiting your business. So this thing that you need to be doing that's supposed to be benefiting your business, you'll forgo that if you have a good excuse to watch, oh, there's a new episode of this on Netflix, like, oh my goodness, I've got to watch this, or I've got to do this, or somebody calls you and they have a plan and it sounds interesting. Now, the friend with a lot of time will have a lot of those plans. They'll know where everything is happening. They'll know what's happening, the latest episodes. They'll be up to date with everything, and they'll encourage you to also start doing those things that are not supporting your business, that are not supporting your customers, that are not supporting your craft. Instead of studying to improve your skills, you're going to start doing things like, oh, let's go hang out with Kinanani, they're going to meet at this place, or let's do this. They'll always be encouraging you. They'll always be calling you and interrupting your day when you're in a moment where you should be spending that time thinking, working, supporting your clients, calling your people who you've worked with for referrals. But instead you're like, oh man, I don't feel like making those sales calls. Dude, what's the plan this evening? And then you find yourself distracted. and you find yourself doing a lot more of the things that are not moving the needle in your business. So that friend who has a lot of time, you have to avoid that friend. Don't always pick up their calls. I mean, you're not like Pavlov's experimental the dog's Pavlov, he was called something Pavlov. The dogs used to experiment on, where he would ring a bell and they start salivating, because eventually, if you haven't, like, that study is really interesting. So over time, you'd condition these dogs that every time there was a bell, there would be food. Bell, food. So they got to associate bell with food. So as soon as the bell is rung, they start to salivate, even when there's no food. You don't have to answer every call that comes in. You will not die. The world will not end. You will not lose the $1 million deal or lose that call from Safaricom's lottery if you don't answer every call, if your phone is periodically on silent when you need to do some work. So the friend who calls you and they have a lot of time and they have a lot of those plans, learn to mute them. Just don't pick up unless you're ready. Because yes, sometimes it's nice to be distracted. Like, you've been working, you've moved like something really big in your business, and then you can make room for distractions, because you also want to have a balance. When you're ready to be distracted, they're still there. They still know all the plans. They still, like, all those places that they've discovered are still going to be there even after you're done with what you need to do. So that's the third that's the third thing. That's the third friend. I'm kidding, third. That's the third friend you need to avoid, right? So that person who has too much time, you want to cut them out of your circle. And I want to point out something that's interesting. If you look at life like a cake, so life is the size of a cake. That's your life, right? Every day is a slice of that cake. Every year is a bigger slice. Every decade is an even bigger slice. And we don't even know how big our cake is. How you spend every single day is a slice of that cake. It's getting finished. Inaenda ikiisha. If you're not careful, you'll realize your cake is halfway done and you didn't make the best of it. You wasted it. You might as well not have been given the cake. But you used that cake so recklessly that half of it is gone. And now you're filled with regret. You don't want that. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm making this because I don't want you to end up being robbed by something that's going to take slices of your cake and not give you anything beneficial in return. And now we'll continue eating away at your cake. And let me tell you, it's so easy to spend time, waste time with things that are not helping you, things that are not productive, and you're not always working on your business. I'm not saying that the only productive things are the things that are in regards to your business. As long as they are beneficial to you and they're helping you achieve your goal. You have a goal, right? You have things that you want to do. You have things that you want to achieve. You have the type of business that you want to build. And I talked about creating that vision, and I'll put the link to this video, to that video that I did around setting your goals differently. I have a very different approach to goal setting. So I'll put that below and a link at the end of this video. But if you have that goal and you want to achieve that goal, anything that is not building you towards that goal is a waste of your time. And yes, sometimes we do things that are a waste of our time, and it's acceptable. It's okay. Like, sometimes just say, I worked really hard this week, so I'm going to literally just take a day off and do nothing. But that goal, you have to always have that goal in your mind. And remember the things that are contributing towards your goal. Remember, for your goal, how I like to look at it, your goal should have your career, your business, your finances, stuff like that. They should be a a goal for that. You should have relationships. There should be a goal for your relationships. What are you looking to build? What kind of friends are you looking to have? What kind of family are you building? What do you want for your kids? What relationship do you want between you and your husband or your wife? That's a goal. Like, that's important. What health do you want? What body do you want? That's a goal. You need to have a goal for your physical health, your physical, psychological, internal health. What kind of, you need your body working the way it's supposed to work so that it can take you further. Because what's the point of being the richest man in the graveyard, right? So you want to have a goal for even your body, how you want your body to be. So I'm not talking about goals only from the business or financial perspective. I mean your overall goals. If that thing that you're choosing to cut that slice of cake for is not helping you get to this goal, you need to really think about whether you really want that goal. Because there's one thing saying you want the goal, and there's another thing putting the work towards that goal. So that's the third friend. Now to the fourth friend. This fourth one is something. So I grew up in an estate. And in this estate, there were a number of kids, as you can imagine, people who are growing up around the same age, kind of hang out together, right? So I grew up in one of those estates where we used to hang out. We used to hang out with a number of friends amongst us, right? And I had these friends who were like, they used to like what you'd call wasting a lot of time, there used to be this place like where people would go drinking. It's like a slum that was nearby where guys would get cheap booze, and it was just a mess, right? And these friends of mine used to like going to this place. And they would always constantly call me and tell me, hey, like, let's go. And I just was never comfortable. And they would come with stories. Like the next time I meet them, they come with stories about how much fun they had, who blacked out where, who did what, who had sex with who the toilets had maggots. Like, I mean, I'm listening to these stories and I'm like, And they would have all these stories and like pictures to go with the stories. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, this is so interesting. If these guys were planning to run for president, like, yeah, that story is dead. So the fourth friend is related to this. It's the friend who will encourage you to mess up. That friend who does not stop you when you're doing something wrong. That friend who does not call you, like they don't call you out when you're messing up, when you're acting, because you will, like, we're human beings. Sometimes we do things that are not in our best interest. Sometimes we mess up. You need friends who can tell you, what you told your husband, that's not right. You should be working on this. You should be working on this goal, or you should be doing this instead. Or you shouldn't be spending this amount of money on these kind of things. That friend, you need friends like that. Now, if you have a friend who's quite the opposite, is encouraging you to mess up, like they're encouraging you literally, come hang out with us in this place and get drunk and like, let's be stupid and let's drive drunk, and they don't even stop you. Like those kind of friends, you don't want those friends around you. And the problem is that when you're successful, because I don't doubt that if you're here, you're going to be successful. You're working to improve your business. You're working to improve your life. It's an inside out job. You know this, the fact that you're here, I take your time. I have a lot of value for your time, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here with me. And I know that you're going to be successful. You hang out with those people who encourage you to mess up and don't hold you accountable when you do. And those are the first pictures that will come when you're a success. Those rumors about you, once you become successful, that's where those rumors are going to come from. Those pictures that you don't want your kids to see about times when you made bad decisions, That's where those pictures are going to come from. So you want to limit how much time you spend with such people. You want to limit how your involvement at all with people who encourage you to mess up, because misery loves company. Somebody who's encouraging you to mess up is encouraging you to join them. Their life is a mess. They're trying to recruit other people so that your lives can all be a mess. Because honestly, they need company when they go to jail, somebody to hang out in the jail block and to talk about how the government should have done these things and how so and so should have done, and how if they hadn't been born to such a background, and how their parents, like everybody is to blame but them. Those people, you want to stay like 10-foot pole. Those ones I'm even saying, like, don't even avoid them. Run for the hills. Like, run. Do not collect 200. Do not pass go. Run for the hills. Because those guys are not going to help you at all. They're just going to break you down. And it's only a matter of time before they pull you down into the hole that they're in. So you want to avoid those friends. Yeah? Cool! So thank you. Let me see what's in the chat. Let me see what you guys are saying. Woo! There are many. Wow! Oh, Dan says that. Let me see if there's a question. Sometimes it needs to be an entrepreneur to walk alone so that you can achieve. Yes, Jerry says that sometimes it does get lonely. Like, it can get lonely. Let me not say it does get lonely. Let's just say that your friends will reduce significantly when you're an entrepreneur. And the thing is, if you've ever had to deal with a bad, like a situation where either you go broke, you lose your job, you get sick, and you can no longer do the things that you used to do, you get a child, so your priorities change, then you watch your friends leave you, right? And it's very easy for them to leave you. And you used to think that, oh, we were such buddies. But then when things change, like, they leave you. And that's okay. Because friendship is not all about, there are different types of friends. There are friends who are your confidants, friends who you can tell things, friends who are there for happy times, friends who are there to help you through a period, to friends who are there to, like, introduce you to the right person, to help you get something. Like, they're friends who are just there for that particular purpose. So also learn to know which friends you have. Some friends are not confidants. So when you go sharing your juicy inside thoughts with these people, they're just looking for fodder. They may not be happy for you. You have to know when to stop. You don't always have to talk to somebody. Sometimes even introspection is actually a beautiful thing. So what I would say, Lucy, is yes, it could get lonely in terms of the size of your close friends and the people that you spend time with. But if you love your own company, like I do, like honestly, if you love your own company, you'll never feel lonely. So the whole point is to make sure that you enjoy your own company so much that you never get to feel lonely. That even if your friends drop from 8 to 3, you're okay. And you're building a business that should keep you so busy you don't even get lonely. So you're working on your craft, you're working at being the best, you're working at learning new tricks, you're checking out what's happening, you're creating your YouTube channel, you're creating content for your customer, you're doing tutorials for people, you're doing all these things, you're busy. You don't have time to be lonely. Right? But that's a good one. Thank you, Jerry. Let's see, Dan, exactly. Solutions. Purge when you're building your business. Yeah, you will notice that you do have, honestly, you have to purge. If you have the same number of friends when you're in your business as you're building your business, especially after this, if you have the same number of friends after this, like a week after this, as you had 2 years ago, I'll be very surprised. You do need to purge. Bernard has summarized. Thank you. Yeah, Lydia, she says she's been narrowing down her list and it works like magic. Energy and time saved for personal growth. go, Lydia. I'm like high-fiving you. There you go. I'm so proud of you, Lydia. So yes, keep doing that for personal growth. Grow. Your business can only grow as much as you. You actually at your height up here as a person, emotionally, physically, personally, your height is how far your business can go. Your business will never outgrow you. You're the limit for your business. If you want your business to grow, grow. That's the only way your business can grow. Your business will not grow if you have more customers, because you won't be able to give them great service. Because if you're not growing, if you're mediocre and you're not growing and you get more customers, they'll just leave. So eventually you'll be left with a business that can only grow as high as you. So you have to grow. You have to grow your mindset. You have to learn new skills. You have to learn how to do things better than you were doing them yesterday. You have to grow so that as you grow, your business grows. You grow, your business grows. You're the ceiling for how big your business is going to get. So personal growth, as Lydia pointed out, is so important. And getting rid of these friends will free your time and energy to build yourself so that your business can grow and grow and grow and grow endlessly, which is what I want for you. Dances. Yes, the always available ones. Yeah, they always have many ideas that are better than what you should be doing. So yeah, definitely. And Lydia, I eliminated a whole bunch when I asked for financial assistance to boost my business, and boom, natural selection. That's fantastic, Lydia. Oh my gosh. Lydia asked for financial assistance from her friends, and boom, they checked out. So yeah, now you have a tip of how to do it. Dan even says he's going to use that. Yep. Oh, I love this. I love the chat. Just joined. Okay, Wonder Boy. Aha, let me see. Lydia says she's actually thinking back to the seasons of her life when she was that person. Oftentimes, nasty habits are driven by fear and insecurity. I would say before you dump that friend, you point out you point out your own areas, inadequacies. So sometimes you might be that friend in one way or another. So it's also important to look at yourself and point out to see whether you're also being that friend. But let me tell you, there are some friends that you need. You cannot, let's just say you're the pessimistic friend, right? So let's say you realize that you're more pessimistic and you've been very discouraging, right? If you hang out with other pessimistic people, it will be very hard for you to get rid of your pessimistic habit. Because guess what? It will be validated. So you really do still have to dump those friends and work on yourself to make sure that you're also not that friend. Awesome. Okay. And David says there are friends who are avoided naturally, but when you get into business, yeah, I agree. Try to avoid feels like a task I wouldn't like to be involved with. I'm the only person. Yeah. Like when I say avoid because sometimes these people may be your family. But for me, I do done. Like we just will not hang out. Maybe I'll send you a Christmas card or a Christmas message these days since we send them on WhatsApp. But yes, cut them out. Yeah, so David, that's my view. Chariot, how do you handle criticism after leaving bad friends, especially from family members? Lonely, honestly. Much love from Eldoret. Thank you, Chariot. That's a beautiful question. So here's the thing. Remember, just look at your life as that cake. That slice of cake is so important. It's all you have. We didn't get 2 cakes. We got this 1 cake. Even if they criticize you, I can guarantee you that when you're successful, they will all be singing your praises. They'll be like, tulikuwa tunajua huyu, tulikuwa tumeona hata In fact, there's even more room for you to grow. No one will talk, will even like start saying at you, oh, let me tell you, when you're successful, all your sins will be forgiven. And by success, I don't just mean in business. Like when you have the life that you want, and the life that you want can be, you could be Mother Teresa. You can't imagine that even as Mother Teresa, volunteering her time and doing all these things, she had to go through. Mother Teresa was born in a very rich family, right? She literally donated herself for her cause from a very rich family. Look at all the great people in the world. Nelson Mandela had to persevere 27 years in prison. A few friends talking badly about you doesn't even come close to a year in prison. This guy pulled off 27 years. It's okay. And the fact that they're talking about you means they're idle people who have too much time on their hands. So it's a good thing you got rid of them. Wonder boy, you don't need to kick friends to the curb just because they shouldn't be in the right to begin with. Yeah, I agree. They shouldn't, but we are human. Sometimes we find ourselves hanging out with people who you were in school with, people who you've known for so many years, and they just like continue, like you just continue. But as you're running a business, yes, I agree. They really should not be in the car in the first place. But yeah, it does happen. And then some friends, when you discover Wonder Boy, maintain only good friends in regards to who you are and your goals. Booyah! High five, Wonder Boy. Nice. And Ephraim says some friends, when they discover you've begun a business, they want to sell to them at the price you buy your products. They don't want to make profit. I get it. Yeah, sometimes actually the thing that's interesting that I discovered is sometimes the people who have known you grew up with them and all these things, they know you at a different capacity. They know you at like the times when you were wasting time, maybe you used to go and hang out and drink with them and pass out. Like that's the version they know of you. When you start a business, they can't see you differently from that version. So they may not take you seriously. And you'll find that, like, if you're starting a business, if today is the day you're starting a business or you're looking to start a business, let me tell you, that whole thing of your friends are the first people who are going to buy from you, I don't agree. Like they're not going to be if anything, they're probably not going to be the ones who buy from you. So it's easier for you to sell to completely different people who don't have that picture of you in campus, passed out or avoiding classes or doing all those things that you shouldn't have been doing. Get new friends, like get other people. But yeah, I do agree. Like they see you in a very different capacity. So now when you come and you're like, yeah, I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, this is what I'm doing, they don't see that picture. And yeah, Jerry, Lucy says, during COVID times, our business went down, phones went dead. Only a few real ones stood in the gap. True. What gave us strength once more is satisfactory service. Booyah! High five, Lucy. Oh, that is so true. Like you notice friends over time, you'll end up losing some friends over time. And that's okay. But if it's easy for them to dump you, why not dump them in advance? If you're having a hard time struggling with that, dump them in advance. Because when the time is right, when you're no longer serving them, like what Lucy has just said, during COVID times when things were difficult, when you're no longer able to hang out, give them money, buy them drinks, or take them out for lunch and stuff like that, they'll not be there for you. So why not do it first? Especially if they're not helping you achieve your goal and they're causing distraction. Yeah, awesome. Great ideas for natural selection. Yeah, I love that one as well. Never start a business for a few open for the entire society. Okay, well, okay, all right. Lucy's answering Odhiambo. She's okay, good stuff. Thank you. I see even in the chat, guys are actually supporting each other, which is really cool. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being here until now. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this if you enjoyed it. And if you're here with me till now, I really appreciate your time. And I appreciate the fact that you spent this half an hour with me. And I hope that going forward, your business is going to change. And as I said, you are going to be a success. Don't drag around people who are pulling you back or holding you back. It's hard enough to run a business as it is, as opposed to running it with less oxygen because somebody's got their hand on your throat, right? So I look forward to seeing you next time. We're going to make this more regular. So every Friday, I think, let me know what you think. Every Friday, I would love to do this. Like we just come and hang out on Friday and talk about something interesting, random. And you can share with me ideas of what you'd like to hear next. And I'll see you then. Ciao.